Who wants to be seen?
Just her.
A little more to the right.
Stop.
Keep going.
Stop. Put a shirt on. We just want to be heard.
Right.
We're good.
I think it's good. Just end live stream. You don't want it on you? End live stream.
Betty told me the other night, she was like, thanks for calling, you guys could hear the conversations.
That's backwards.
That's what happened.
Shows me on the right-hand side of him.
Steve, you get to see this?
That thing's backwards from what sets here.
Oh, yeah.
Does that mean everything we say comes out backwards?
The proceed.
So what stung you? Big
White face hornet.
white face hornet?
Yeah.
If everyone's read these, you don't technically have to read them if they've all read them.
Oh, I see.
But
Just
if
vote
they
on it.
haven't, then we read them.
Yeah, we could just ask if everybody read the minutes and then we can make a motion to pass them.
Are we adjourned yet, or
No,
we
we
waiting?
got 5 minutes according to that clock. What do we got? How many clocks?
4.
4?
I got 3.
Yeah,
2, 1.
No, I mean,
Hit it.
that's what
Hit
I
it,
have.
maestro.
I have 3 of them.
We go by the computer or by that clock right there.
Just gonna give you this. This is, I emailed it to all of you, but this is what we're expecting from FEMA. I'm gonna give it to the chair.
All right.
Federal pays 75%, and then we have the slides and leave off the rest.
I hate that. Could you move that? Oh, she doesn't do that.
That's what I thought.
She's gonna be an indoor cat, so she doesn't get run over. Yeah. See, Betty tells me everything.
Oh, yeah. We get her out there.
I know. She was, yesterday, she was gonna go up to Missy, she didn't go. And then when I talked to her, she started crying. I said, "No." And she said, screaming, and she said, "It's all right."
Yeah.
But she's lost right now, too, because kids are around.
Well, because the money's been taken out of the roads that were supposed to get done and put somewhere else, this money's gonna go somewhere else in the roads
I'll
now.
have to get her to call.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's still funny.
I love
Yeah.
her.
Once we get the money, we made an agreement, so if we get FEMA money, we should put it back on the roads that it came off of, but the money was already taken out of other roads. So we're not putting it back, we need to have an agenda to do the roads that we need to get done. Not just blow this money right off. I'm sure people will be in agreement to the town to do it, so. But that's that, oh, sure.
45 seconds, I guess we can start now.
Sure, go ahead.
Welcome to the committee meeting, and I request that we close meeting till the end. All in favor? Okay, it is. Review of the minutes from the last.
Yeah, I make a motion that we accept them as published, because I sent them all to you.
Yep.
She can read them if you want, but
So I firsted or seconded, and we accept the minutes. All in favor?
Thank you.
Okay, old business. I think we need a category of unfinished, old, and new, because I see a problem on this old business, because if a complaint comes in and it gets fixed, I never hear about it, and I don't know it. So to me, the select board maybe needs to look at these things when they come in, and if they're fixed before our meeting, let us know so we don't have to review them again. I don't know if that's proper etiquette or not, but it
Yeah,
seems
can
to
be
be a
done.
little communication gap there. I don't know if Al knows about it or anybody, but I don't. So I don't know if there's any old business pending or not right now. If anybody knows, can help, or anything that we can touch.
Well, I'm gonna say something about the complaints that are coming in, we really can't do nothing right now
No.
until we get Pratt held on. Because even if we go look at it and we say it needs this, this, and this, we don't have the money to do it until we know what we're dealing with. So we're still at a stalemate here, and then we have money coming in from FEMA, but it's still pending. And, we believe, we're just talking, it's nothing written in stone, but the money that was spent on the roads that were supposed to go to the other roads, because we agreed, we said, if money comes in, say Sam Addis Road, from FEMA, we put it back in on Sam Addis Road. Some of those monies were already spent, came from different places to fix these things. So we can't say it's gonna go back to that road, we have to prioritize, any money that comes in, we're gonna have to prioritize it and get the roads fixed that we need to get fixed. We're not gonna jump, all over the place for one small job or two small jobs. And I'm gonna go out, and I told these guys, once we get going here, we'll go out as a committee like we did with Steve, and we'll get in the van, and we'll go ride around and figure out what's going on with the roads and brainstorm and see what we can do to get them fixed. And we will not be talking, and I told Wesley and these other guys, we're not talking to the landowners. We'll come back to the select board with an agenda to fix whatever we need to fix. So that's kind of what my brain's telling me to do. And with me and Steve, we did all that stuff. It just didn't go to fruition to get done.
Right, but I think we're gonna find out, Al, is the things that community called upon, the select board, they're gonna have it fixed, it's gotta be fixed.
Some of them, some of them could be major.
Right.
It costs a lot of money. I mean,
Right.
Small jobs, no problem, but,
Right.
it's up to the select board to decide that. But the ones we're gonna look at are probably the ones that, we've always had major jobs, that's gonna cost a lot of money, or change something in the road, or put a culvert in, or, change the flow of the road. Remember, up on the hill there, Gurney Hill. Remember that corner on Gurney Hill? So there's a lot to it. It's not cut and dry.
Right. People doing the firework, they're getting a big winter's coming, so we're running out of time to get stuff done too.
Right. And, I don't have anything really against them going out and doing a coal patch, but I really would like to see them kind of dig out some of those holes and put the coal patch in, where you just don't put it over the dirt, and then all of a sudden you drive over it 2 times. But what are you laughing for?
Well, I hope they know better, and I hope they know what to do with that.
I mean, they should, but I've seen it done the other way. Just poof,
We already authorized him
to
to
do
get the
it.
coal patch out.
So hopefully, if you want to oversee that, I'll put.
Oh, yeah, I'm with them all the time.
Yeah.
Today they did that washout up on Church Street,
Yeah.
by the cemetery, the Grove Cemetery.
All right, so we're all on board with that stuff, right? The coal patch and
So the
grading.
one by the cemetery is done.
Yep.
All right, thank you. All right, Wesley, you're up.
that's what I need to know.
Yeah,
That's what we need to know.
yeah, we can let you
If
know.
there's no more old business to go through, we'll jump into the new.
Okay,
And the new is, I'm sure probably everybody here knows that Jim doesn't want anything to do with the estimates of cost to do jobs or anything like that. So the way I see it, we're gonna have to put it out to bid. But before it goes to bid, there's some changes I wanna make in, some of you have seen the paper that we drew up, well, I drew up, a while back. But some of those things are gonna change because I forgot them. And that's, the riprap. It's, I was told round is good, and I did a lot of research, and it's not. It needs to be crushed for 4 to 6 inch stuff,
mhm,
big chunks of rock, because round rocks, they claim will wash out under them, and they'll start collapsing and making a mess. Where the ones that have been crushed don't have a round side to them anymore. So
right,
they lay down good and flat and stay there. And then the other thing is, if you've got a steep grade, which we do down there, they recommend riprap to like the high water point of whatever you expect the water to go to, and a little bit beyond. And then every so many feet, I didn't put it down, but I think it was 30 or 40 feet, you still put a berm across to slow that flow down, and it creates a place to catch sediment, which makes perfect sense. But I've been doing some research on that, and the other thing is, when the contractor's working on that, and I'm sure they all are very aware of it, but it has to be temporary erosion control in place. You've probably all seen those little black fences out around construction sites to catch anything that's where they're digging and working. It's to catch it and not let it go into brooks or stream that's gonna go into lake or anywhere for that matter. So there's a couple things I know of right now that needs to go for change for this job. And I think that was the majority right there is erosion control. And we, as the town work employees here, we all have seen the comments coming in, and it's obviously a high concern to the people on the pond, whether or not we're doing all of the pollutant for them or sand going in. I don't know. I guess we'd have to have an expert look at it, but BIM mentioned back a little while ago that people on Bear Pond were concerned with the erosion, and he, don't quote me for sure, but he said something about he had the state come in and they went down and surveyed and looked at what was going on down there. And they said that most of what's going into the lake is not on state from the town's property.
right.
It's, the brook itself is full of water so much in these heavy rains that the brook, instead of being here, is growing wider, and all that stuff is going into the pond. We can't stop that. That's not ours, and it's private land, and we can't touch it. So I think part of me would like to see that happen again, is somebody from the state DP, probably DP, come in and look at that and say, yes, that's, the banks are eroding down towards the pond and putting the stuff in the lake, pond. But I think it would be good for us to know going into this job, are we the big culprit or are we just a little one? Because we need to do the job right and get the confinement of runoff, silt and sand. Sand doesn't go far usually, but there's a lot of what can be done when they do the ditching up there on that road, on those hills. they recommend wherever you can, get rid of what's in the ditch. You know, like probably halfway down, there's a berm probably this tall, just off the pavement. And on the other side of the berm is just down a bank, it's all grass. And they claim that's the best filter that there is to let that water, before it gets to be a big flow at the bottom, get rid of all you can as you go down through. And then when you get to the bottom, it's not that much, which again, to me, makes perfect sense. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that we can do, I think, to help make that better than it is, not just for the cars going by, but for the people living on the pond, or any pond, don't matter if they're living there or not, because we don't want to add to a bad situation. And that's, other than that, I don't know, I can't remember if there was anything else I noticed that was.
Can I just add to that?
Sure.
I think too, in the last 2 years, especially in Western Maine, we've had massive storms. State roads have washed out, bridges have washed out. There are still roads in Rangeley that have not been repaired, because obviously they need the FEMA money too. So I think we're probably not alone in this issue, and that's probably contributed to some of it. But certainly there's always room for improvement.
I have,
You know, my point is if we do everything we can do to prevent that, you know, what are you gonna do? If you've done everything reasonably possible to stop it on our part, I'd say that we're doing good.
Go ahead, Diane.
so years ago, because this has been on the agenda for many years, we spent a lot of money on evaluation of Pratt Hill. Is that still in the town office somewhere on file?
Probably is.
Because that was pretty in-depth, more in-depth than Hartford could ever pay for. But there was a lot of good information on that. And we also worked with Maine DOT. At the time, it was Paul, no, somebody else. They came out and they come out for free and they will look at your road project for free and suggest how to maintain our road standards.
Well, it wasn't Paul Gia, was it?
Doesn't sound right. I don't remember. It's been a while.
But anyway,
I think can I speak for a second there? So I think what we need to do is, Wesley did a really good job on this. And I think we should just add a few other things that we would want to, I talked to people about the bid specs and they want specifics. They want to know when they come and do this job that they're going to do this, this, and this, and this, and then you cannot go back and say you didn't do this. So that's what I'm getting from these people that are going to do bid specs, because.
and you have,
But none of us here are qualified to do these bid specs.
okay, but we've got them already. I was going through that code Bible for the town, in that section under roads, I think it's just roads. But in that, it is quite detailed on all roads being built. I would assume that doesn't mean just a brand new one, but even a rebuilt road. It tells you the width of the base, width of the tire, the thickness of the bases, the thickness of the tire up top, and the finish coat, it does all of that stuff. So I said, that's a pretty good guideline for them. What's the ditching? I mean, I don't think it was heavy in ditching, that paper, if I remember right.
I don't know if that's what you were looking at.
Yeah. But it's in here, and I think when we go to put a bid package out, we need to include this, so that and what's on that one to work together. They should pretty well know what they're gonna do.
Right, if it's all stepped and everything, I mean, somebody might come in and say, well, maybe you should do this, and then we might have to rethink it. But most likely, if you tell them to do this, this, and this, and that's what they're gonna do, then you hold them to it. It's like building something. You know, you want something done You want your foundation to be 7 feet high or 8 feet high, that better be 8 feet high. I mean, you're paying for it, that's what you
The
need.
one I had.
This isn't the one.
So I think we got a good grasp on giving the select board
Copy it off.
the paperwork for a bid package, and then they can
It's an easy one.
find somebody to do the job.
It is to be one select person, road commissioner, and the chair of the road committee.
I'll sit down with you guys, I don't care. Or Wesley can sit down with you guys, it doesn't matter.
It
Well, we
has to be the chair.
Well, I
and
thought it
also
said
a
chair or you could vote.
Right.
Because my only concern with Wes is, like 3 weeks ago, you had a contractor up there on Pratt Hill that you walked through the whole
Yeah, it
project.
wasn't the contractor, it was just somebody looking over it, like a friend or something. It wasn't a con, it wasn't. he
Wasn't a
he-
road
no,
guy?
He wasn't bidding on the job.
He built roads, so, yeah, that's what he did for a
But he
living.
wasn't
But
looking.
isn't that what we're
Yeah.
talking about, is building roads?
He won't
He
be
wasn't,
putting a,
he was not
But
putting
he
bid.
does not put a bid in.
All I was looking for was some guidance, you know, because sometimes two eyes see more, well, four eyes see more than two do. And he did, and pointed out a lot of stuff that when I went through looking at it, I missed. And that's what I was looking for, is some added information to what I already thought about stuff. Sometimes we agreed, sometimes we didn't. But I kind of went towards his side because, except for the bridge, and he thinks we should have had, I said, we can't put $100,000 bridge on that road. You know, but he said for what flow there was, he said the culvert will do it, but the bridge is better, which wouldn't argue that either, but I just think that,
I think whatever has to happen, we gotta get going on this. We
I think
can't
we-
keep screwing around and delaying this.
I think if we dump all the water we can, with natural places coming down through, that the flow into that brook will be less than what it's been in the past, which would be a good thing, because it will be less flow. Because a lot of that, if it goes to some place, other place, it may sink into the ground instead of being washed into the lake pond.
It'll filter out. I've been up to Baxter State Park over the years, and I've seen rivers up there go from 6, 7 feet deep to 4 inches. Because the winter comes down through, it blows the banks out, and then it's just flowing. Some of these rivers around here aren't very deep. They just get wider. And that's what's happening there. It just keeps getting wider, and banks are washing out, and it's getting dumped into the lake. So we gotta get going on this thing, and winter's gonna be here, and then everybody's gonna be blaming us for not doing our job, so we gotta get going on this.
so are we gonna discuss itemized bid stuff tonight to pass to the select board, or is this going, are you having a big committee?
I don't know, but I'll go through that. It's gonna be more on the last sheet was the directions and what to do. It's gonna be stuff changed there more, because ditching's ditching, but they need more clarification on what we want for a ditch.
Detail, yeah.
And then what we could do is give it to you guys, and then if Ben wants to sit in on it, then we'll sit in on it.
And if you guys wanna change something, have at it. But we'll get it to you hopefully very quickly here, because
But we don't have to have another meeting to get it to you, we're just gonna, it's all written up already, you know, and
but that's what I hope.
there's only minor changes in it. But we gotta get going.
We gotta get it.
I don't wanna be stalled any longer, I feel like we're just getting stalled.
I feel that way too. Time is on nobody's side, and then once you start a certain amount of work, like,
Right.
can it sit through the winter if it doesn't get done?
Well, it should be paid before winter.
I don't believe it's gonna get paid before we're done.
I'm with her, because when the road work gets done, usually it has some time to sit, and it's gonna depend, who knows? If it's 60 degrees in December, maybe it's a different story, but
Right, plus if they compact it really good, if they compact it as they put it down,
It still should set for a while.
Plus, a lot of contractors right now, if you're any good, you're booked until fall anyway. I mean, how many contractors are sitting around for work right now?
I've seen a couple.
So I guess we then need to decide if we're talking about what we want for a bid spec tonight and giving that to the selectmen. They can do a special, if we get stuff together, they can do a special meeting to look at this instead of waiting for the next select board meeting.
So we'd have to write the changes out and give it to them.
And one thing, there's a catch-22 to this, bit about getting the road done and paving it. If you don't pave it, which is the recommended process to let it set a year,
Right.
all of that good gravel we put on is gonna get a lot of it plowed into the ditch.
Mhm.
Because Jim, I don't think runs plow shoes, I'm not sure. But on dirt roads, you need plow shoes so that you don't take the dirt off. But it also leaves snow on the road, so, and if you,
I mean, they tarred roads around here, they tarred he did Green Acres Road last year and he paved right over it.
but
So you're telling me one thing, but yet they do another thing. I watched them do Green Acres Road. They came in with a bunch of gravel, they graded it, I don't even know if they compacted it, and then they paved it. It wasn't a year, Kathy. It was not a year.
No,
So let's just think about what's going on and let's move on, please.
but as far as the paving this year, the best scenario would be to let it set a year.
But not
On
on
the
the,
negative side, you're gonna lose some of the gravel that's put on and shape that was put into it.
you're not talking about that much paving
And
to
if
do
you,
that hill.
Well,
if
how
you
about
pave
we,
it, then you take the risk of having it crack and break if someplace settles more than another place. So I wonder if we ought to maybe look at just having the base coat put on this year
Right.
to hold that stuff in place through the winter. And that will give it a chance in the next summer to be wherever it's gonna be. And then put your finish coat on top of that,
Well,
because
that's how they usually do it anyway.
that's what I would,
So you have something that you want to add to Wesley's?
no, I just wanted to, I mean, whether we're getting it paved or not, to just get this process going is, let's talk about exactly what we want for the bids.
Yep.
Specs.
So you have some changes in your head, so
and speaking of bids, is there anybody here who'd like to volunteer to get, contact with different outfits to see if they want to bid on this? Is there somebody who'd like to do that?
We have to first.
That has to be in the paper.
Correct, it's gotta be approved, put in the paper, and then people can reach out.
right now what we have to do is make sure we got what we want on the bid spec.
Well, maybe you and I can get together and anybody else that wants
I
to.
mean, we can do it right now if you know what you want. David could take notes, or I wouldn't mind even her taking some notes and let's fix it up and give it to him tonight. We can agree on it. We
It's
got
on,
the
it's on the
time.
video and audio, so yeah, I can do that like tomorrow. I'll just put a rush order on it.
And this is a meeting, so we might as well take advantage of it and get it done. And we'll go with your lead. Can I have this top paper for a second? Can I have this top paper for a second?
So I would ask, getting back to Pratt Hill, what would we like for appropriate fill on that upper section that's steep as far as, gravel, you know?
Well, Wesley has all the specs, and so does Diane. has the
Specs, okay.
specs.
That's what we see. That's part of it.
And getting back to the, two culverts where the brook comes in above 95 Pratt Hill. I say we just leave those for now because I pretty much believe we need to put in a grant to the, state of Maine for help in putting some kind of overflow tunnel underneath there. And they have it's called the Municipal Stream Crossing Grant. And it's a special newly developed program, and they, if you can give them enough information on it, they will come in and at least attempt to help you out with it.
It's a matching grant, but I'm guessing Kathy's gonna talk about it.
Well, I don't know about that, no.
Okay, we did that, we've already done that. We got a hold of the state, and we was granted $90,000.
for a grant to replace the big 7-foot culvert.
How long ago was this?
A couple of years, not very long ago.
This is a brand new program.
18 or 19.
So, we had Jeff Stern in on it, he works for the watershed for Oxford County. And we hired an engineer. Cost us $12,000 for an engineer to
You don't
come out.
have to do that anymore, state of Maine does that.
Free.
For the engineering, you don't have to worry about that. They either give you the money or they don't. You might have to put a little bit in, but it's not much. I'm
They
glad
are,
you-
they are matching grants still.
No, this is a new
Dave,
program.
can I say
This
something?
will stream process. I will bring the information the next.
You're thinking way far, because if you,
So anyway,
what happens is if you're gonna dig up a road, you're gonna pave a road, you're gonna gravel a road, and then you're gonna go back and cut the tar out of it to do that?
Yeah,
Right.
you
No, we're not gonna do that.
replace all your culverts before you do it.
Exactly.
Exactly.
No, but we don't have time to do that stuff.
so we're gonna pave it anyway, and we're still gonna put it into the grant. Because it's free, if you get it.
You're way ahead of yourself.
Well, maybe so.
All right, because we can't do that. We messed up a couple of roads in this town by doing that, because the culverts were messed up, and we didn't fix them, and we ended up messing up tar, and it's just not good. Even the state makes those mistakes too. You know, they'll put a whole road and then find out they messed up a culvert and have to go back in and cut it out, and that's not fun. It settles, the road doesn't come back the same way for years until they do the whole road over again.
No, he was thinking on replacing the overflow culvert.
Right.
That's, what it was, 4 feet?
Yes, it is.
4 feet, the other one's 7 feet.
Write
Yes.
that down, the overflow culvert to change.
Why would you do that if you're gonna pave it? Because it's gonna settle, and they've already told us, don't do that. So
What's that?
No,
don't
no,
replace that 4-footer. There's nothing wrong with a 4-footer. I know it's metal, but so isn't the 7-footer. When you go to replace those, you're gonna do them as one package, and it's probably gonna be one tramway going through there, not an overflow culvert and a primary culvert, secondary and a primary. So let's get the job done this year. I would not replace that 4-foot. There's no reason to. It's just gonna settle down, and then you're gonna have a dip there.
What is it,
State-
metal? Is it
Pardon me?
metal? The 4-foot culvert's
Yes, it
metal.
is. They're in the same vintage and they're very heavy gauge, very heavy.
Yeah, but-
You're not your typical.
They
yeah,
still
but how many
rot
years
out.
has it been in there, Dave?
You don't know.
Did
They
you
still
stick your
rot
head
out.
Yeah, they rot out. They rot
So
out.
we do still have 16 culverts that were purchased 2 years ago for that road. They're behind the salt shed.
Yes.
They're different diameters, different feet.
Right,
They are
and
still there.
and all those culverts should be changed before we pay.
That's-
So that should be part of the bid package,
Yes.
is all those culverts should be paid, changed,
And then you're gonna pave over them this fall.
basically. What you do is when you change a culvert, you don't bring in new dirt. You use the dirt in the road to go over it. If you bring in new dirt, you're gonna create a spot where one is gonna go higher than the other, because you just changed the dirt. You don't
reuse the dirt.
reuse the dirt, don't bring in new dirt. You put a bunch of sand on top of that thing, and that won't rise like the other road. We've done that too, we messed up roads by doing that, by bringing in new dirt. So we already have somewhat of an idea of how we screwed up before, so hopefully we learn by our mistakes. Right, Kathy?
I've done it before.
Go ahead.
Just make a couple of comments. I'm Mike Goodwin, and my wife and I bought Mary Houlihan's acreage that goes from South Carolina to Cape Tequila.
Yeah.
And when we found out that we did not have a legal right to use South Carolina Lane, then the issue came up with that.
Right.
But we were adamant that we were gonna do it following best stormwater management practices.
You have that housing development, right? That's your
But
housing
it's
development?
a-
And I mean, the guy who did that road was like, I mean, I've seen rain go down that road, I've seen winter go down that road, and roads can be built right, but they just have to have the right person to do them. I mean, you started off with a base, good gravel, big crushed gravel, not round rock, and then you layered it. It's not going nowhere. I could see you guys put the money in, put the time in, and had the right contractor do it.
You're saying that we didn't do that?
Pardon?
No, you did.
Oh, you did a good job.
Yeah, we did.
No, I've seen it, and I just seen when you paved it. I mean, there was like 30 people there paving that part of that driveway. I'm like, holy mackerel. I mean, it only took a few minutes. I don't know if we got to make any money.
Well, we did hire mainland development, their engineer, Rick, Dunn, but I can't think of his name right at the moment. And we hired him on a consultant basis, and we kind of did it as we built the road, because you started excavating it, it looked different. I mean, this is a different situation than what you have with Predicate Road. The gentleman on your left, I don't know what his name is, but I just want to say that all the things he was saying about the specifications and what he needed to do, I agree completely.
Right.
Those are really.
I don't mind spending money on the road. I always just said, if you're gonna spend money on the road, just do it right. I don't want to go back in 2 years and do it again. I mean, all those culverts need to be changed, change all the culverts.
Right.
You gotta bring a good vibrator in to pack them down, and we only put one skim coat on anyway. And then if it breaks up, right, and then we do it, then we come back and do it.
The
But it definitely needs to be paved this year. Hopefully, we can get it done.
The only additional information I'll say, he already said a lot that I wanted to communicate to you about the type of riprap, where to place it, and whatnot. Obviously, placement of culverts is very important, as he pointed out. Every opportunity you've got to take some of that storm water and divert it out of the ditching system, you want to take advantage of it. The other, one thing that they did stress to us is that the ditching should be, to the extent possible, wider and deeper than normal. Because you want, number one, whatever amount of rain you have coming down, you want it to go as low velocity as possible.
Right.
And you want to make sure that in these torrential downpours, it never overruns.
Well, that's when you're putting that riprap in, like Kathy mentioned, you don't want to put it right up to the top. You want to put it low, so it just catches it. You only want if you got a 3-foot ditch, you only want about 1.5 feet of riprap in there. You don't want to go right up to the top, because then you're going to create an overflow to the road.
Yeah, you don't need to. What we did is on the inlets of culverts, that's an area where water's coming down the ditch and it has to make somewhat of a turn, right?
Right.
And so we had those all rip-wrapped
Right.
there so that there would be no erosion as that.
I would like to see when people put that big riprap in, take the excavator and drive it right into the bank.
Yep.
It'll look like a puzzle.
Yep.
It's almost like sealed, because riprap is like a puzzle. And when a lot of people dump it in there and they just go, and that's not, they should just put it right into the bank with the bucket, and then it's not gonna move.
And another thing is a riprap catch basin at the outlet of culverts.
Well, you're supposed to have, yeah, and at the end of culverts, according to, Trout Unlimited, there's specs on having culverts level, because the fish going up and down, so we're supposed to be level without big holes. Usually they make a big hole at the end of the culvert. In the beginning, it's filled with sand, but I've been to some of those meetings with Trout Unlimited.
The only other thing I mentioned is that when we built that road, when we come up to get ready to put the base,
Yep.
that was an 18-inch base, carbon town specs, and that was all crushed from solid layers. So it was really angular, and it was compact.
Right.
And then on top of that is a 6-inch. Well, that aggregate nothing had to be larger than 6 inches. And then on top of that, we had a 6-inch surface layer, again, that was crushed from solid layers, and with nothing greater than 2 inches. And all of that was compacted as it was put down.
I think we have a decent base there, underneath what we're gonna take out. So we don't have to go those layers. I mean, if we were putting a new road in, then I would say, yeah.
So are you going to get a warranty on the work from the contractor who did the work, like a down the road warranty on the work he did?
He didn't give me a warranty, but I knew him really well, and he is local, he's in turn. And he's had a lot of experience doing where DEP gets involved, obviously our project we didn't qualify for DEP. We followed all the specs, but he's done like a large campground project on Sedato. So it's up to you.
Would you want to share with us the length of it, what it cost you to change that houses?
You got all that.
Sure, the stormwater management stuff, until what we did this spring, really didn't cost that much. I mean, that riprap
You got
is
some culverts that's supposed to be
and it's just a
changed.
little bit more time with an excavator placing it, and stuff like that. And particularly the check dams across the ditch, that you can actually, those are critically important. So that the water steps going down rather than just, going up and down. And the river. So that part did.
You want to be as
What
specific.
it was expensive for us is that, well, what we found is that the DEP has a list of lakes and
That's all
ponds
he wants to change.
that have a much higher risk of being degraded in that having
5 or 6 culverts.
algae come out.
So that's part of.
Little Bear Pond is on that
That's
list.
part of the bid package right there.
So if the DEP was involved, they would hold any developer to a much higher standard in installing stormwater management. So that's what we did.
I mean, if these guys want,
And so what,
if these guys wanted those bid.
When we were at the
packages, you gotta be
planning
somewhat
board,
specific.
even though the planning board couldn't require us to do it, we said this is.
I would go with what Jim said about changing.
And so we installed 4 level litmus traps this spring.
Small.
And what those are is to take
And then
all the water in
these
the
up
ditch,
after that.
All down the road.
and you divert it out at more or less a constant
So they're going to
elevation.
the
This is
culvert
all
beside that
engineering
culvert,
design.
going down to the flats.
And
I think
goes out
down the hill.
in a ditch that's has geotech fibers, big, riprap the whole way, goes into a larger retention area.
So
And then the
put down
liquid spreader is a berm on the downhill
that
side,
David was talking about.
comes up to
changing
3
that.
foot, perfectly flat, the whole length of it. And then with rock on top of that. And the idea is that the water collects there, and then it goes sheet flow.
Well, the winter
That
weather
berm.
again.
And then there's a whole area below that, that's a
Did have a
buffers.
4-foot culvert he wants
So-
to change.
can't cut trees,
And he
can't
said
disturb
after that,
vegetation,
there's 5 or
that's
6
critically important to
culverts.
filter
You know
that.
how many there is, now they've just
And
beyond that,
that's-
to decline it.
Those are expensive, right?
That's what I think.
They were,
We'll put this 4-foot down and then.
little spreaders themselves range from 7 to 37 feet
We
long.
gotta give you something. We gotta
And
get
I'm saying with the engineering that went with it,
When he
the
says
excavation.
culverts need to come out, that needs out and moving it around.
But we're not doing that while we're going right this now. We're just doing that. It's pretty much. Yeah, I'm ready. We gotta get something written down before I go. I can't go there with nothing. You know what I mean?
When you talk about it.
We are.
So we just, if is been willing to participate in the bid committee,
I hope so.
because if
Let's
he is, McNeil Farms can't bid on that,
Talk to them.
Why not?
because it's a conflict of interest.
See, I knew you guys were gonna say that.
I just said nothing.
I knew that was gonna happen.
What's that? Oh, because he's been on it?
If you've been on it.
So do you think it's fair though, if he sits and says, we want all of this, we're looking at this, for us to send it out to the paper for other people to have no idea?
We'd rather have, mainland stuff. You the engineer.
We have a $14,000.
Yeah, see?
I didn't want to spend money on that damn. that corner thing. They spent all that money.
What's that? Oh, that other grant?
No, that money, the other guy that was helping to do it.
Jeff Stern.
Yeah, well, they spent a whole lot of money on engineering stuff, that I didn't, I mean, we could have the thing done by now. Do you remember that?
Yeah, Ben said he could have done that for $40,000, changed out that 7-foot culvert.
Right. And then we had to have an engineer do it, it cost us a whole pile of money more than it.
Well, you have to have another outfit too, and boy, I can't think of her
I would-
name. Where's her? She worked with us.
I remember it was a cluster. It cost us a lot of money.
She is with,
Well, the engineer for the state grant money that they're talking about, he's the one that also talked about his ideas, field stuff, and runoff. Might go find something about it.
Well, we go, this is just a draft. All right,
I think,
I think we should have just bit the bullet and got them to done it for what he said. But
all right, this is just a draft to get us to go into this process that you want to do, Kathy, so we're gonna hand this to the select board, and then you guys set up a meeting, and we'll do it. With the road committee, and him, and the selectmen, and whatever you want to do. But I don't wanna waste another week on this. So, you want this?
What happens with the, some of the budget money if nothing gets done?
What do you mean, on the road?
Yeah.
Pratt Hill?
And you say nothing gets done all summer, and some of it's over, like,
will Leanne, Kathy, will Leanne redo that and make those changes, or we gotta do it and give?
What, I guess my question would be, are you handing that to Kathy to present to the other selectmen? Or are you handing that to her to go to the bid committee?
We're going to the bid committee.
bid committee.
It's
We're going to the
not
bid
either one,
committee.
but I gave to her, is who's gonna retype that?
Right.
That's what I
Right,
want.
this is just the beginning to get us into bid, we have to have something to go into the bid committee with. So we're not sending this to go out for bids, we just need to move forward on the next step.
Do we have enough specifications on that to really bid properly? Do we know volume that we need?
You gotta remember, we're gonna talk about this again with these guys and supposedly with
Okay.
bid. So by the time we get done, we should have some idea of what exactly we need, step by step.
Based on whose authority?
Bid committee.
What
The
the
bid committee.
bid committee comes up with.
So it's not over yet.
But no, I made some changes on that need to go into the final. If anybody knows more changes need to be,
Right, that's why we're going into the bid
that's
committee.
fine.
So,
If we get that done, then we can, because this package is the first estimate stuff here, don't need to be changed. That's the directions on how to do it, and if those are changed, they'll know what to do here.
Right.
And this is still an estimate, so they'll have a rough idea what to bid on, you know, how much money, because nobody's gonna bid on something they can't see,
right,
so.
Yes, we just have to be very clear of how many feet of ditching, exactly how much.
That's why Ben didn't wanna do this itemized thing.
Well,
But we
the
gotta move
fine,
on to see.
the fine tuning is on that, in that book I've got at home, and I should have brought it probably, didn't think of it. But in that, it does tell you the amount of base you need, the width, and all of, gives you everything you need to do, including the paving. That's why I changed the paving, because in the town's code book there, they've got a 2.5 inch base with 1.5 inch finish coat. So you've got 4 inches of pavement, which is pretty substantial.
Paving bid is altogether
different.
different, and it's easy to do.
Yeah.
It's a lot more easier to do, but road construction like this,
But that-
I don't know, because whoever's gonna bid on it, they're gonna feel like, gonna feel like BIM did, they're not gonna know, well, we don't know what's under that road.
We can scratch the
And,
paving out of this one if you want. to do
yeah,
that.
no, the paving
The
is,
pavement's separate.
that's separate than what this is altogether.
But what happens with that is you give the person what you want on the road. And then usually they'll have a clause in there, if they come up with a rock or something they gotta pull out, that's extra. I already talked to some of the people, and they would rather have exactly what we want on that. We tell them what we want done, like we want the ditches done a certain way, we want the tar to be broken up, we want new gravel to be put down, we want that culvert to be fixed. That gives them an idea of how to bid the
Who's
job.
gonna babysit them? I don't think Ben is.
I'll go down there and babysit them. I mean, nobody has to babysit somebody if they're an upstanding contractor. You know, you shouldn't have to, And you're
Yeah,
gonna,
you should.
well, you're gonna see what they're doing because they're gonna have the ditching done right, they're gonna have the riprap put in right, they're gonna have the culvert put in right. I mean, and they're gonna be bringing gravel in to fix the road.
Wesley, do you feel that it's gonna be a while before that gets fixed to prevent any more erosion going into Little Bear? That they should do some kind of temporary riffraff or silk fence, 6 feet with ditches with some hay or just to catch any kind of practice coming through between now and fall, the rain coming and.
If we don't get it done, I think if we don't get it done this year, then I think we ought to put some stuff in the ditches, but my goal is to get it done as soon as possible. I don't wanna keep messing around with this. The more we talk, I'm not a person that goes, I wanna get it done.
Right out there, you got a process, you got a big committee.
Right, we're gonna go through that. We're gonna go through that as soon as possible. How soon could you get the bid committee together?
I don't know, I have to get ahold of them. Ask him.
Tell me when you can get them together and I'll be there.
If we're getting complaints about silt and dirt, seeing getting a little there.
I don't think a lot of it is coming from the ditches. Have you gone down there?
But I'm just saying.
How much, I know, complaints are one thing, but is it happening? Have you gone down there?
I have gone down there, and I have looked at it, but a lot of people still feel that.
I know they feel that way.
A lot of that silt too has come from Bear Mountain.
I know, so you're just, I mean, like I said, let's just get moving on this, please. So I make a motion to give the bid committee the authorization to let go, let's get going on it.
And I will get a copy of that spec in the book because they will need that, definitely.
Right.
I think it's like 22 feet of base width, 18 feet of pavement width. And it tells you how much base and all, pretty much everything they need to know. I'm not sure, maybe it was even ditching in there too, but it was a lot more comprehensive than I ever thought it would be. Somebody put some time into that. So anyway, we'll do that and make the changes and give it to the board to do whatever.
Right, once it leaves our hands, it goes to the select board, it goes to you guys, and then you guys gotta.
Have you walked up the stream,
No.
up that brook, have you walked up there?
No, I have not.
You go a ways up there, and you come across one little dam. Then you go a little further, and there's a big pond up there,
A beaver dam?
probably. I mean, it's big, it's good size. And
That runs
had broke.
parallel to Mahoney, you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If that ever broke, then
Usually what happens if the.
it's good to
beaver-
have that overflow culvert.
Right. Well, usually what happens to the beaver dams, and they tell people this all the time, and like Sylvia Mahoney, she doesn't want anybody trapping beaver on her property. But once beavers move in, they eat themselves out of house and home, they just destroy your land, and then they move on. If you go in there and have somebody trap them out on a basis of taking the big ones out, you could maintain a pond if you want a pond. But once you let them take over, they're gonna eat themselves out of house and home, and they're moving. They're going upstream or downstream, and they're not staying there. And that's how they destroy a lot of land. And then, like you said, after a while, that dam erodes. The stuff keeps getting washed out in every storm. Usually it's a slow process. It doesn't usually, beavers are pretty talented in making a dam. You ever tried pulling one apart?
It's not,
You ever tried taking one apart? It's like pickup sticks. Yeah. Pickup sticks or chainsaw.
So may I ask a question?
Sure.
So if you can get the bid committee being one of you guys, and with or without Ben, you can meet if he doesn't agree. It would be great if you would agree to it. But, so will you get back to see if we will set up a meeting ASAP?
Sooner than later.
Get it topped out.
Well, I don't think we have much more to say if we've agreed to do the bid, it's
Right.
where we need to go first before we.
You can't go, you can't do anything until we get this done.
If that changes on that, I may drop the paving off.
Yes,
And then I'll get that paper in that code book, or whatever you want to call it, for the town. And we can include that with this.
Is that part of it? Is that like a resurfacing of the road, not rebuilding, not building the road, right?
Right. Yeah, it's more like repairing the roads we have than it is
Okay,
building a new one or something like that. Which is, or at least that's the way I took it. But yes, because we need to get going on this, or else we ain't gonna have it.
no, we've been trying, we've been messing around trying to get some answers from the road commissioner and getting it done through him, and it just hasn't worked out, so.
Well, we got two of the select board here. Are you guys all good with what we're saying?
They can't comment because 2 or more selectmen is a meeting that wasn't publicized.
Well, they haven't yelled at us, so we must be good.
Okay. All right.
All right, you ready to close the meeting?
Nope, not yet. I'm not done.
All right,
That's the end of the new business. And then there's item number 4, it says change. Does anybody know what the change is? I'm resigning from the chair of the committee. And I'm resigning in favor of Al taking over, basically like switching jobs. I'll just be the vice, he can be the chair.
Yeah.
And
That will have to be voted on.
it will be. Everybody hear anything, understand it?
I'll second that.
All in favor? Done.
all right, thanks. You got wide shoulders, I've been beat up before. I just push it back on her.
Well, I'll tell you, one of the reasons is I have hearing aids, but they don't work. Every time a truck goes by and somebody's talking, I have no idea what you said. So if I sit here and say, yeah, that might not be appropriate, or I might say, oh, really? It's embarrassing to not hear what people say. He's got good hearing, and I get good.
I can't see them.
I can be his eyes, he can be my ears, I guess. But it's,
See off the roads.
if a group of people start talking, I don't know what anybody's saying. So that's why I like a closed meeting, because it limits who's talking, and I can better hear what people say. And it's not fair to the town's people, or this board, to have me sitting here as a chair that can't hear what's going on.
I can say tonight was really nice to talk to you, even though we had a closed meeting, we let you in because it wasn't argumental. The only reason we say it's a closed meeting, because if it becomes argumental, we're done, we're out of here. So if everybody can be civil and get this stuff done, fine and dandy. If it's not,
I haven't talked to a lot of other property owners on the lake, those that I have. It's very important. Everybody expressed to me, it's very important that we approach this as we're all working together. That
Exactly.
we're all, our goal is to protect the water quality.
right. I think some of it we could protect, like you're saying, that the water's going down through and taking out parts of the bank, and we really don't have no control over that. You know, unless you go in there and put big walls up and concrete on the bottom, you're not gonna stop erosion like that.
There's no one solution. It's everybody doing the very best in each situation.
Exactly.
That's the, he can't control nature.
No, I-
You look at the rivers around Canton Point, they had moved the road over to the farmer's field because it was washing away into their road down, I call it down Savannah Road, is it? No. down in Auburn, they rebuilt the road, moved that away from the river because the river's taking over the roads.
Well, the river road, they did the same thing, too.
You know, it's.
They put that great big riprap all the way down the river road to keep the water from going over.
We used to this much water every year, now we're getting this much every year.
These rivers haven't even come down from spring. You go up the rivers, they haven't come down.
So if you think you're gonna stop the water, not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess, I will hand it over to Al, and you wanna,
Yep, I'll make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
I second
Just
it.
one,
Kim,
Oh,
can we
yeah.
set a date for our next meeting?
We can't, we need to talk to them guys. They need to tell us.
we can always cancel one, can't we, if we set it for a week from now, because we're on the time.
Okay,
constraint.
let's put it on, yeah, let's go for next Monday. Hopefully we'll get it done before next Monday. But it's gonna be up to you.
The whole bid thing,
Well, we gotta get bid in here to talk about the bid thing, if that's what you wanna do. If you don't wanna do that, that's fine and dandy, but we gotta get going on this.
should be three of us.
And I will get, she's on the planning committee,
Right, I'll be on it, you'll be on it. Who's the next one?
you're on it,
Bid. So we got 3 people.
but I'll get that paper from home and give it to one of you too.
Okay,
That does explain more in detail what needs to be. Because they do need that along with that.
okay. All right, we're all set then.
Thanks, Kathy.
Look at her, look on her face.
Yeah. Alright, so, up one. We want to do. Now. But there are ways to be. Slow the water down as much as possible. Because it's right, the velocity is carrying the sand down to Washington back out.
That's the most.
I was saying, because Black Mountain comes in, we always have that George.
Once you go across the road,
Slow down, I mean, you can't control the water, you can't slow it down.
what he said is like, we're going down the hill, I've got places you can dump water. You dump water.
I heard you say that on the TV, and you can't go put water on everybody's property unless it was already a water turned on.
Well, it's already going that way.
If it's not, you don't go cut the
We're not gonna take issues on fucking green acres. There's some places out there that are right there.
Steve is on the escalator. She should have fucking.
What did I do or not do?
When he was sitting right there fucking saying that we weren't digging on Green Acres Road.
No.
When he was saying that we fucking all we did was come in and bury what we did.
No, I didn't say that.
He didn't say that.
The fuck he didn't.
No, I said, no, we're talking about paving. You guys, we're talking about.
You said, did you not say that we didn't do any compacting on Green Acres Road?
No, I didn't say
The
that.
fuck you didn't. Rewind the fucking tape.
All right, go ahead.
What he said was he didn't.
He said, I don't even know if they did any compact on Green Acres Road.
I didn't know, because what they're saying was they should leave, what we were talking about was,
They did do
we
compact.
should.
Why do you fucking have the fucking road committee when you ain't done nothing in 40 fucking years? All you do is fucking trap beavers, do fishing, shit like that. Fuck you.
Please do. But anyway,
You do bees too. So jar some fucking hunt.
so what
Fuck
I'm
you.
saying is, they were saying that they wanted to leave Pratt Hill unpaved for the year. But when even if they compacted it, they didn't let it sit for a year. I would like to see Pratt Hill done,
If you can get somebody to pay it.
Right, I'm just saying.
Okay,
I don't want
nothing that we've done in 25 years has not been common. Either I've rented a road, the town's rented a road, or all roads.